Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing another layout for Kit Conspiracy. This is a series with MK Gunn and Janet Fritz where they pick a kit and then they make layouts with it all week long. Hopefully I can get my words out. Um, I chose to use the same kit or kind of sort of the same kit as they are using. You don't have to use the same kit. You can create your own kit. But I'm choosing to use this one here, which is the Great Escape. I showed a full kit reveal in the first video. This is the second layout with the kit, and I'm only showing you the items I plan on using. I have an idea for this layout, and it came from Allison Davis. I will show her layout when I get started on creating the layout. These are the papers that I started out with, and I was hoping my idea was going to come to life. So this cut apart here, I plan on using part of that. The plaid paper I'm using instead of the stars. I can't believe that, but I am going to use the plaid. And I'm going to bring in a piece of white cardstock here in just a moment. So I'm going to get started here. This is the Allison Davis sketch or layout. Sorry, it's not a sketch. It is a layout that inspired my layout, but I'm using a different collection than what she used. She used Cocoa Vanilla also though, and she put a lot of florals at the bottom of the colors. She used a pattern paper though that was striped already, and then added the embellishments down at the bottom in matching colors. So what I'm doing is I'm going to recreate that paper, but I'm going to create it with mixed media and then pattern papers and then embellishments like she did down at the bottom. So we're getting started here. I'm going to use my little stamping technique to make my splatters a little bit bigger. And I did that in another video, but if you're new here, welcome. I do that with a stamp, and then I wiped it up with a paper towel just because I don't want it to be too dark. I want it to be just light in the background. So I let it dry a little bit, and then I just rolled it up. I'm using a clear overlay to cover up the sections so that I don't get the colors mixed together. Since they are still wet, they will blend and make probably an ugly color. So I don't want to do that. So I just cover them up with the piece of packaging. I'm using all Shimmerz paints, different ones. I use 3 different blues, 3 different greens, 3 oranges, and then 2 yellows. And it doesn't really matter, like, I guess, the names of them. If you really want the names, I can give them to you, but there was quite a few of them. And I just picked the ones that matched the papers that I was working with. And I wanted the colors to be a little bit lighter and darker since that's how the collection is. They're not all one color. So here I'm going to go in with the orange ones, and I sped this up since it's kind of on repeat. I do exactly the same thing in each section. And then I'm going to get started on the layout. And I will slow it down just a little bit when I get started on the layout. The mixed media part was just kind of repetitive, but I thought it was kind of a neat concept for somebody to see. If you're not really a mixed media fan, this didn't warp the paper at all. It's very light mixed media, so it worked. This little rainbow color on color pattern I used at the top, and it's going to match perfectly with my rows of colors. And it actually came in after the fact, but it worked perfectly, so I really like it. So now I'm going to start attaching down the papers, and I should have moved this one over slightly, I guess. It is in the middle of the green, but I don't know. There's a little bit bigger space between the green and the blue strip when I get done, but nobody's going to really notice except for me. But anyways, the orange one I'm going to place over here, so it is in rainbow order. There's not really red in this collection, it's just a darker orange color, and then yellow, green, and blue. So those are the colors I'm going, or what order I'm going in. And then there's also a gray in this collection, and I'm actually going to put gray at the top. So you'll see that when I get started with adding the embellishments down. I'm going to attach my photos down. They're just 3 little cute photos of him getting up a step out in nature. And we were walking through, it's called Castlewood Canyon. And it's a little mountain area, and it's a really nice little nature area to walk through. And the stairs, he's like, how do I go up these? You know, 'cause he was only 18 months, I believe, in these photos. So he was just figuring out stairs and different stuff, and he had fun climbing up those stairs. So I glued down all the little embellishments down at the bottom. I wanted a little flag in each one. There's a word in each one. It says explore, roam, adventure, wild. And then the little flags also have words on them. And then there's a star in each one. And then the yellow one has the little yellow feather. I decided to eliminate the orange feather and only do one. Up at the top, I'm putting this little title that says nature, or that's going to be my main title. I think it says out in nature or something like that. Sorry, I can't see it. And then there's a little like compass up there that was gray. I put it up in the corner. And then now I'm just going around adding more stars in some of the little circles that were on the epoxy sticker sheet. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm doing pretty much tone on tone all the way around. So if I add yellow to yellow, green to green, blue to blue, and then the orangey red color one. And then I'm going to come in with black puffy stars and add some of those. And pretty much that's going to be it. But I really love the way this layout turned out. I also added green chipboard trees right there on the green strip down at the bottom of the photos. I just thought that gave it another little place to look. And it says, oh, what does that one say? Hold on. Take in the view, that's what it says. And I thought that was kind of cute since, you know, he's climbing up the steps and then he turns around and looks at me like, well, are you coming? And he was just so cute. Like I said, he was just figuring it out, little toddler, and it's just the cutest. So up there by nature, it does say wild by nature is what it says up there. So there you go, a little bit of a close-up. I was totally inspired by Allison Davis's layout. I don't think I would have created this one if I hadn't seen hers. So I always like seeing everybody else's layouts because it gives you ideas and then you can run with it and do your own idea. But this one turned out really cute and I used up a lot of the embellishments, which I'm okay with because I love these papers and I think you could use these papers with a lot of other stuff and different stickers and just create more layouts anyways. That's my layout for today. Thanks for coming by. Like and subscribe. Bye.